church of what's happening now. The phone.
Oh.
You can look and see what the 3 meals are.
Okay.
It's Uncle Joey Diaz with my main little Jewish goomba, Lee Syatt. What's happening, brother?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I just want to say thank you, man. I had a great time in Vegas. And it was, you were very nice, and you gave me like a gift card, but not a gift card, but you just told me to go get a nice meal. And I went and had a great steak. So I've been thinking about it. It made my whole night. Like, that night was my best night of gambling I've ever had.
And you won that night. That was the
Oh
night
my
that
God.
was the only night you won, when you ate the steak. The next morning you woke up with your kiss of dead self.
It was just so, it was like the perfect night. I got a steak, I got a nice drink.
I could tell the other night that you're processing a lot. The last couple of weeks, I could tell when you do the edibles, you drift away, and you've been a little distant lately. So I could tell you needed 2 days, but I could also tell you needed a good meal, to sit down, and sometimes a good warm meal by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Even though sometimes they say it's really unhealthy to eat by yourself. When I go away on the weekend, sometimes I can't wait, because I eat by myself on Saturday and Friday morning, and it just gives me, it's like a little breather. You're always surrounded by people, you always have people around you, your family members, your child, your sister, your brother, your cousin, and it's really nice to take care of yourself. And, Lee didn't do anything mind-boggling. He went the cheapest week you go to Vegas. You want a cheap vacation? Go to Vegas Christmas week.
Oh, it was the best thing I've ever done.
That's the cheapest thing you could ever do in your life. They give the rooms away. You
Haircut
gotta
after
put some
this.
gel on your head to get a fake ponytail, so you can tell you're a director from Israel. It was funny, all those years when I was 16 and 17, on Friday nights, me and Didi would get together. We were nuts. He was the guy that I was robbing Putnam Field with. He's the first guy I ever did an 8-ball with and stayed up all night listening to Rapper's Delight. I mean, me and Dee did 1,000 crazy things. We got beat up one night by Hudson County Park. We just had a lot of adventures growing up, But I never forgot his aunt. And I don't know what happened between me and Dee Dee. You grow up. I moved uptown, and I didn't see Dee Dee as much, and we just stopped being friends. But we were tight, and I loved Dee Dee. Like, I really loved Dee Dee. I just don't know what happened. Somewhere along the line, we lost communication. I moved to Colorado, blah, blah, blah. I come back in 94, and I'm asking about Dee Dee, and nobody has seen him. And then a couple of years later, I get the most disturbing report. Here's this, Dee Dee just wasn't a kid. He was a good-looking kid who ended up becoming a good-looking man. His brother is a good-looking man. I mean, and I lost contact with him. And one day I found out that if you went to Hudson County Park, or parked by my house, and drove around in your car, that within 5 minutes, Dee Dee would pull up on the driver's side with no shirt on and ask you if you wanted to party. Somewhere along the line, mental health had grabbed him, and he had started doing tricks, turning tricks with men at a park. This is mind-boggling, And then I heard another disturbing report that he had HIV. So, you know me, Doug. I don't even know where to start looking. And in 2007, the weekend that I quit doing coke, I did a Friday night show in North Bergen for the high school, and I did a Saturday night show in Hoboken for the police department. And when I get off stage, who's in the back? And Dee Dee. And I give him a big hug, and we call his brother, and he tells me his brother's married with 2 kids, and blah, blah, blah. And it just recommunicated me with those guys who were such a part of my childhood. I mean, Carlos was that kid that drove me and Dee Dee to places. Like when you have a friend that you go to the movies, your mom drives you. Mm-hmm. We didn't have a mom. Carlos drove us. if Christmas, New Year's, birthdays, you've been watching TV, and say this to yourself. You got to say to yourself. Okay, last night I was watching, I took a big nap yesterday afternoon, like a 3-hour nap, the night before. So I knew last night was going to be a late night. You left at 11:30, 11:45.
Right.
Okay, and I had Cuban coffee. Oh, fuck. So my wife went to sleep. I stayed awake. I watched something on Julius Erving and Marvin Bad News Barnes about the ABA. And then I got caught up in some movie. I'm watching this movie for about 20 minutes. And I was watching it, What movie was it? Jesus Christ, that's how stoned I was last night. The last 2 nights, I've been so high at the house by myself. The first night, Bert Kreischer called me. He goes, hey, you going to come over tomorrow? I had to call him back the next day. I go, Bert, you called last night? We talking? He's like, yeah, don't you remember? I told you to come over at 5 o'clock tomorrow. I didn't even remember.
What did you have?
What?
What edibles did you have?
Everything. I had the transmission fluid. I had a couple stars. I had some of Larry's happy pills. I was off and running, Jack. There was no drama in my life. It was late. I was staying home. This is my last weekend at home. Next week I do New Year's with Joe Saturday night. Friday after that, I do Kaluka Casino. Friday after that, I'm in Cleveland. And the Friday after that, I'm in Tempe, Arizona. So these next 4 weeks, I'm working on the weekend. So I figured this last weekend at home, I'm going deep right in my living room.
I love going deep in my living room. It was fun getting a little stoned in Vegas. I liked gambling. It was pretty cool. Like you were able to calm yourself down, because that's the biggest thing. And I really think it relates to with gambling. Like when you start going too fast or you start betting too much is when you start losing. So that, I was thinking about you the whole time, because I did great that night because I was on stars and I just was betting my normal $15 and I just got one on a run, and it was it's pretty crazy to see.
I don't know much about gambling in that aspect. I'm not a card player. But I know that to win at the slot machines, it's about patience and nailing it. Knowing when to bet 3/4, knowing when to bet 1/4. Knowing when to bet 3/4, knowing when to bet 1/4. Knowing when, and then just catching it. Pretty soon you start catching the machine and you start flowing. You hit 2, Wheel of Fortune, and you win $40, and that's the guy that wins. That's what I know about that. It's time for another star.
Oh my God!
You can't walk on one leg. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the 3 wise men were showing up with an envelope. They just started their journey.
I can't walk at all right now.
Oh, you don't need to walk. You got nowhere to go and nobody to see. Listen, man, I don't know anything about today's world and what's going on. I do know that I see cameras for everything.
Right, yeah.
I do know now that when a liquor store gets robbed, it comes on Eyewitness News. I know that when a burglary happens, and it's an amateur burglary, it's on film. You follow what I'm saying to you? If 4 Spanish kids throw a rock through a glass and climb in and take the things in the jewelry store, that street, they're going to show you that. Right. But they're not going to show you footage of people who are in there taking safes and, know people who know how to chisel safes. They're not going to show you those tapes.
No, and regular ordinary homes have those security systems now. Like my girlfriend.
Yeah, but I can shoot you in the head 4 times before the cops get there if you don't give me what's in your home safe. That's the real deal. I could shoot you in the head 4 times after you press that buzzer and walk out of there with luggage, and the cops still won't be there. Yeah.
Is that your line to them? I could shoot you in the head 4 times. Don't press that buzzer.
No, you press that button, I shoot you 4 times in the head. What good are you? You know what I'm saying? I could still get out of there by the time, they realize you're out of it. I just got an alarm.
Huh?
I had to get an alarm.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's spooky over there. It's spooky. It's spooky over there, dog.
Too quiet?
Yeah, it's a bit too quiet. Give me the whole thing. Booby traps, lights, explosives.
You missed the Mexican ice cream man?
Over here?
Yeah.
Nah. When I got up to like 3:36, shows up at the weirdest times of the night. I need him like I need a milkshake at 2 in the morning. He had me all chiseled out for a fat dude, so he would sit in front of my window and just ring his little ice cream bell. And 3-4 times a day, he'd even beep the horn. Like when the ice cream man beeps the horn at you, you know you're a fat fuck.
Like you're.
I was walking. I was going to the gym. That's when I first moved here too. I was walking my wife to work in the morning, and then I would stay walking for an hour, and then I would go home, eat, Weight Watchers, go to the gym, And I noticed, damn, I'm putting on in pounds. It was that Mexican ice cream man beeping the horn at me. He was luring me out to talk to him, and he'd sell me ice cream.
Was he mad? Like he was mad at you for making him wait?
Not at all. He'd wait out there till I got the beep. You know, after 15 minutes, you're like, there's got to be beeping for me. I look out the window. He's out there waving. That you want something? No, I'm going to get a double cone. Why you giggling, Lee?
Lulu Plus.
Hulu.
Gratis.
Hulu. What Lulu?
2 semanas.
Hulu. HULU plus.com. Number one, I want to present to you for Christmas because I know you guys got some cash. Everybody's trying to change their life. You want to change your life? Go to onit.com right now. Shroom Tech, the Alpha Brain. Well, hold on one second.
Oh, sorry.
This is all for less than $10 per person per meal. MyBookie.net. Play, win, get paid. Health, happiness, and then the money comes later. Trust me, I'm telling you. Lee, my brother, is so high right now. He can't wait to get off air so he can go get air or jump off a building or do whatever it is he's going to do. Again, thank you very much for being my family. Thank you for supporting my special at CISO. Thank you for supporting myself. Kick that mule, Lee. It's Wednesday morning. Hope you guys are doing well today. Myself, Lee Syatt. Both connections. One was in Denver. Good place to get stuck, though. You get a massage, your feet cut. They can sniff your toenail. They'll do everything at the Denver airport. But the other airport that I had a layover in is Chicago. I said, you know what? That airport's the kiss of death. Every connecting flight is late. Plus, your flight's always 2 miles away. You know, I'm 53 and Lee's 28. It's a big age gap. And it's funny hanging out with Lee over the last few years doing the podcast, him coming over, whatever, you know. It makes me think a lot. And in the process of writing a book. And when I write the book sometimes and I go back and read these things, I compare like my life to Lee's, you know, and Jesus Christ. So I was telling Lee a week ago, I go, you know, if I had a chance to do it all over again, once I hit 28, I would make a decision to become a millionaire by the time I was 40. Now, you people are going to say, why 40? Because when I say a millionaire, I say somebody who's well off. Not comfortable and not a millionaire, but somebody who's taken care of in every base. What's the best way to be taken care of when you're 38 to 40? Join the service when you're 18, do 20 years. Come out when you're 38, you got full insurance, full benefits, you go back to school, and you have a thing called a pension. No, nobody gives you nothing. No. I'm not giving it to you. I said, I'm not going to argue with you no more. Either you give me the money, or you can't put no more bets in, and by 2 weeks, you're going to get a knock on your door. And I'm not threatening you. I'm just telling you what it is with these people. I did you a favor, now you're going to do this to me? And I walked in the bar, and 3 minutes later, he came in, okay, I'll give you the money, but next week, I want to meet the guy. And that was the last bet I took from him.
Absolutely. Oh, Joe. That's when you know to take your losses.
That was it.
And by the way, the line on Dallas is Dallas -4
at home.
Yeah,
in Dallas. Yeah, and I didn't even know that. But that was the mentality even then. Like when I got to Seattle, I was already on a roll. Like I was already making moves. I was making moves I wasn't making in Boulder because I was focusing so much on what was going on with my child and the divorce that I couldn't do anything creativity, or sometimes you have all your energy in that. And that's what we were talking about the other day, today. I go, even sometimes when you have a girlfriend, the first year, I get it. I get it, man. I understand love. You know, I fell in love various times in my life. But the last time I fell in love was the only way I played the card right, and that's why I'm still with her 16 years. I played it to the T. I didn't give in the beginning. I stuck to my guns. I'm a comedian. This is what I do. There's no Christmas Eve. I'm working, you know, New Year's, I do a comedy show. This is what I do on your birthday. Guess what? This is what I do on my birthday. There's no vacation. You know, I made this from the beginning. So there was no lying. I always got burnt because I'm like everybody else. What'd you get? You got nothing. These people love to, you know, when you see a movie and it costs $75 million to make. Did they tell you about the lobster tails they bought on that set and the people who are making $22 an hour? I'll tell you about those guys. Doesn't, you know, that same movie, you can make that movie for $1 million. You can make that movie for $750,000 than what the studio paid $30 million for. But there's so much waste. You would sit there and die. How many times have we had discussions and I start cutting stuff off and you go, but I don't understand. Because you don't need it. It's not necessary. I learned when I became a comic. When I became a comic, I shut everything down and got a pager for whatever it was a month, $7.95 a month. That was my nut.
When I first started listening to you on podcasts, you didn't have a cell phone.
Really?
Yeah, with the very first Rogans, I think they talk about you getting your first cell phone.
No, I got my first cell phone in 2004. First got
Really?
Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Oh, and there must have just been the
I
story.
went right from the
Jesus.
set of Spider-Man 2 to Sprint, and they gave me a phone for $200 a month. That was my credit limit. You like smoking wax? You want to see the devil? With me, I want to show you the end of the night. Me sitting there with my pajamas on, drinking a glass of water, and I got Superbad, Demi, and Harry on my lap, and I got Gray on my neck. I want to show you people that. So.
Well, you always see in TV shows, you always see the dog at the end of the bed, but you don't really ever see cats. Always like
No, they don't
hidden
come in
and
my
scary.
bed. I have no animals in my bedroom.
Well, no, I'm not saying you
Yeah,
do.
they don't come in my bedroom.
No, but you interact with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody who knows anything about me, I live and die for those cats. You know, when I'm home, let's say I'm home for 4 hours every day, I got to tell you something, people. For 30 minutes, I'm picking one guy up and giving him love. I'm brushing the other girl. I'm playing with the other one. You have to do it. You have to mingle with them every day and have... I do something. You know, I touch them all before I leave.
Every day?
Every day. Before I leave, I touch all their heads. That's how superstitious I am. If Demi's close by, I'll kiss him. If I could kiss Gray, I'll kiss her. But who's ever sitting there on the way out, they get their head touched.
Do you have a specific order?
Lulu's always the last one because she's by the door.
Really? She hides by the door?
No, she just sits on that chair. In fact, when I walk in, Lulu's eyes look at me like, touch me, so I'll touch her. I'll grab her head, and sometimes I sit next to her, put my bag on the floor and just rub her. And then I'll talk to my wife from the living room, and she'll stab me. Lulu's a real sweetheart. Lulu's one of my all-time favorite cats. A lot of love there for a female in a comedy club, and Jerry Lewis was going to see me and put me in a movie. That's what I really thought. Like, that was how delusional the coke and life, you know, this is way before Kim Kardashian, but there was somebody who was Kim Kardashian at that time who had me confused that I was going to just get on stage one day and Alan King or David Letterman or somebody was going to be in the audience walking through and they were going to see me and put me on their show and I'd be a famous stand-up comic. I had no idea the work that went into it.
Would you daydream about it?
Oh, absolutely. Like, this is all going to be differently. Don't worry about this. Give me $20. Come on. So I started in July of '91. It took me till September of '93 to realize that that pipe dream was never going to happen. Never, ever going to happen.
And that's not even that. I bet there's people who smoke the pipe a little bit longer than you did. That's only 2 years.
And I buckled down, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, I have to do this right. And I put together a plan, and I went back to Colorado, and all the plans worked out except for me being a parent. Okay, no worries. But even throughout that whole downshift and the state of mind I was in, I kept getting on stage. I kept getting on stage. It didn't matter. I kept getting on stage. You're in pain, you're mad, get on stage. Talk about it on stage. And that's what I did. And by '94, which was 2 years later than that, I really had a dream, not to be famous or nothing like that. At this point, I just wanted to be a working comic that nobody knew about. I would go and do triple runs and you know, whatever, the company in Iowa, and I would work for Creative, and I would just travel around the country in a car and do comedy. I was pretty much set with that. Never did I think about millions of dollars. Never did
Really?
I think about...
You never would, like, sit in bed at night and be like, oh, I can't wait.
Dog, what esteem did I have to actually say to myself, not in 1991 when I was delusional. Once I knew what you had to put into comedy and what went into it and the work and everything, there was no way I thought about millions. Shit.
You fucked her at the pool?
No, dog, I got manners. I'm a Catholic. I took it, and that bad pizza stared me in the face because if I'm living here, if you're walking on ice, you might as well dance. I might as well. I still wouldn't eat ranch dressing. I still wouldn't do a lot of things, but I think I would eat one of those pizzas. because that's a situation I put myself in. That's a situation I accepted to be in.
Oh, okay, so it upsets you because I have the means to not eat Subway, or why are you doing this to yourself if you can afford the extra $3 for a nice sandwich?
It's not your lifestyle. It's like you live in a 1-bedroom apartment. You live so very nice. You're neat, and all of a sudden you got this disgusting pizza and disgusting wings at your house. That you look at the wing and they're like gray, like it's an old chicken that got stabbed.
Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people do it. Like they sabotage themselves in a weird way. Like they'll work hard for other people, but when it comes to themselves, they won't work out or they won't work on their business. It's I don't understand why
it's
that
called
happens.
Procrastination. Every year I read that, The War of Art, every year by Stephen Pressfield. Every year I read that in January just to give me a little boost. Lee Syatt, who loves you more than me?
Nobody. I love you.
All right, don't forget about us. We'll be back Monday. Well, Joey here. Monday or Tuesday in your world, February 28th, the month. Thank God we had Danny Brown on, and I'm always trying to reach out to different diversities and females. What's happening, my brother?
Yeah, fucking Danny Brown was great. I love Danny. It's there's a lot of negatives to technology, but it makes it harder to hate people. Like we're not racist, but if you're doing a podcast and you get a guest, they're black or maybe they're half whatever, half Mexican. There's no way to hate.
There's no racism in podcast.
That's
the good thing. There's no racism. I have everything I have for every ailment I've ever had. I carry some of it on the plane. That's immediate. Nose spray, the Tylenols, the other one, anxiety medication, a vapor pen. I'm prepared. And then in the room, in my travel bag, is where I have my eardrop. This is embarrassing to say. Every time I did cocaine, once I got to a certain level of highness, I would do math for hours.
What do you mean? Like
I would buy a math workbook that had algebra and what's the one after algebra?
Geometry.
Geometry.
Oh, I hated the geometry.
Do the workbooks for 2-3 hours at a time while I was doing an 8-ball of coke.
What?
And I'm embarrassed to say this. It started in '86, and I would sit there for hours and do what if things. What if I had 40 kilos of blow, and I cut each kilo with 4 ounces, which would give me a kilo is what, 32.2 ounces. I mean,
you're doing drug word problems.
I would do drug work problems for 4 or 5 hours until I got so bored. I did every figure. I tried to break down how much Steve Graybo would sell to make $6 million. So that's reverse algebra. What would Steve Graybo have to sell to pick up $6 million every 6 weeks? I can never do math like that now, but all I was doing was giving myself, what's the pill people take today, the speed to make them focus? Adderall.
Yes, Adderall. I was going to say Ambien.
It was a different part. It was a different thing of Adderall, if you really think about it. Cocaine worked in my mind like an Adderall. Why do you look at shadows so much when you're on cocaine? I still do everything by hand.
Have you made a terrible mistake yet?
I correct, because of my ADD, I do the thing 4 or 5 times. So, do you understand? I don't take ADD medication, but in this movie, the father recognized the kid had a problem, and instead of pampering him and putting him in a school where everybody hugs each other and nothing gets solved, the kid would force himself every day to play loud music and play like a flash strobe light for 10 minutes.
Oyster Cult.
Selling tickets like Dane Cook or nothing. You know what I like about that I did?
What's that?
The journey to get to the Comedy Store. I still can't believe it. The talent with me, there's no talent. The talent was getting me here. You know what I'm saying? You went to school for 4 years. We've had this discussion. You've looked me in the eye and said that school diddle got for you. You could have learned more in high school. But the journey you made, that's where the talent is. That's where the persistence is. You came out here with a girl who came out here twice and left. Since we've been here, we've had people come and go. The talent is getting here. It's not become, for me it wasn't, I don't see nothing in the comedy. I like that I do comedy and I'm lucky I got involved in it. But for me, listen man, before my mother died I knew I was going to bust out of North Bergen. I love New Jersey. I love everything it stands for. But there was something about North Bergen that I know I didn't want to stay there.
Completely understand what you're saying.
I know there's a lot of people who understand what I'm saying, a lot of people who don't. And I appreciate a lot of the people who stay there. I like to hold on to some things.
It's definitely different.
And I really like when I get a book and I open it to read of the book and like the covers, and when you take the cover off and you see what the book looks like, you know. It's like these albums, you know. Sometimes we end the podcast and me and Lee sit here for an hour when I look at the albums. I miss that. I miss that part of my life. I'm a nostalgic. It's not like I'm a collector, but like there's a lot of books I read and I take right when I go to the place up the corner where you give away books and clothes. Goodwill. I take all the books. There's a lot of books I like to keep because maybe I say to myself I'm going to read it again. I think that one of the things that really kept me together when I was burglarizing and doing drugs, that I was taking classes, guys. Jesus Christ. What possessed me to stay? And I would pay out of pocket.
Oh.
It's not till I got to CU Boulder and I got the continuing education there that they would start throwing me loans in those days. But not loans, grants. What am I saying? There was no loans. Grants. Once I got a certain amount of credits, they said you can apply for grants. So I started applying for the Latino grants and these Cuban grants. I was picking up $200-$300 there. There's a whole world of grants you don't really know about. And like I said, I had my man Manny in Boulder. He was the man with the plan. For the small 100, he got you like $1,000 in grants. The only way you're going to learn to write is by writing. The only way you're going to write your goals is by writing your goals every day. So you find a niche in your day, and you write at that niche, and all of a sudden you get, like, I wouldn't write my book in the morning when I wake up. There's no way. So in the morning I write jokes. After 22,000 milligrams of edibles and an anxiety pills, and I swang a bat and a protein powder.
But you're not fighting yourself and trying to write it at 10 p.m.
No, I'm not chasing the goat no more. No. I'm not pulling the Weight Watchers while I'm eating fruit at night.
I feel like I'm going to get really pissed off at myself when I read this book.
Yes. The time I read it a couple weeks ago, I thought a lot about you when I read this book. Because we all we're lacking something. The reason why we're not where we are is because we're lacking a certain element in our lives. I'll eat one of those Larry pills from time to time. I'll smoke a little tutu, eat a little edible. But God, I knock on wood and I'm not putting that white in my nose or eating bada booms and anxiety pills and chase. No. And it all starts with this book, guys. The War of Art by Steven Pressfield. Read this book for me, all right? How many pages is it, Lee? And again, guys, I don't even know who Steven Pressfield is. I never met him. Rogan had him on the podcast. Two of the great podcast guy. You know, he wrote his experiences. What's it say it cost?
162 pages, and it costs $12.95, $18.95 if you're in Canada.
$12.95 to change your whole life. I don't make a dime on this, guys. I'm not sick and tired. I'm really concerned of all the emails I get with people not knowing their next move or what's stopping them. This is it. That's it, man. Let me talk to you people about something very, very important. That I opened up my underwear the other day. I opened up my underwear drawer, and there was one pair of blue shorts, like blue gym shorts, as you would call them, and everything else was MeUndies. I couldn't believe that there wasn't a pair of white underwear no more. I wouldn't even take underwear on the road with me. I take 3 pair of MeUndies. Luxurious underwears come in ever-changing selection of classic colors, bold shades, and adventurous patterns. I got blue underwear. I got red underwear. I got underwear with hearts on them. I got blue underwear with snakes. I got underwear. Revamp your underwear drawer. You deserve it. They're tight. I don't even think I got them on, and everything's beautiful. All right. Every time I come in here, I look at that watch Lee has, and I go, Lee is a bad mother. Lee, talk to me about this watch. You still love it to death?
I love it. First of all,
you've had it for, I don't know, since Christmas.
Yeah, at least.
No problems, Right? This is what I've been telling you for years, right? You want to go to a Chinese restaurant? They got the lunch special, $5.95, and you get a diet soda. That's breaking the back. Right there, it's a beautiful deal. MVMT watches. And now we rock and roll with the best of them, all right? MVMT.com/church. Break it down, Lee. CHURCH. Again, Father's Day is coming. All right, guys, I love you. We'll be back. And this other poor Zombo, go get some air already. You gotta sit there, like a Buddhist who's been shot.